Hello, YouTube. This is Captain Omni, and I'm coming at you with another fanfiction concept. And as you can tell by title, this is a G.I. Joe fanfic. And yeah, this one is one I've g- kind of been like toying with for a few years now, and figure why not let it out. Um, so yeah, this would, as you can tell by the title, this is G.I. Joe in the trenches. Now, basically, the whole idea here is and no, this isn't a World War One GI Joe story. What this would actually be is the whole idea is like kind of taking something a little bit from GI Joe Renegades. You know, the cartoon that was essentially GI Joe meets the A Team, like crossed fused with the A Team, where Cobra is like this big international company that's also got like privatized military contracts and like is also a merc group and everything. Yeah, the idea here is like, okay, Cobra is still that here. They're not necessarily a terrorist organization, but they are a megacorp that is bent on world domination. Like, essentially, if there was an Illuminati, Cobra killed them and took their place. That's kind of how deep Cobra would run here. So what I would have here is we have the Joes, the GI Joes. Now, basically because the Cobra command structure is like has embedded itself in, well, pretty much everything. Like, it is like, even higher ups in the main governments across the world. Like, Cobra's slowly maneuvering things to where, yeah, they will be able to easily, like, just declare when they get ready to just declare absolute, when they have their ultimate weapon done, to essentially be like, yeah, guess what? All your governments, you're not in control anymore. We are. Yeah, all led by Cobra Commander, of course. But the thing with this though is to combat this, there is one high-ranking general that is kind of a double agent in the sense of like, okay, he's found out exactly what's going on, and he's like, you know what? No, 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 no. It's like he's playing along in order to get info, but he is kind of coordinating his own resistance force. And that general's name? General Joe Colton. That is the original G.I. Joe. So, what he does is he organizes a resistance force made up of non-commissioned officers like sergeants, lieutenants, privates, that kind of thing. Like, basically the working stiffs of the military. And even those that are no longer active military coordinate with them like, hey, we need your help. This is extremely off the books, but we need your help. That kind of thing. So you have like, and it's not just limited to American military. It could be like, Japanese, some Chinese, French, Mexican, Canadian even. That it's kind of like a worldwide resistance of agents that are like working behind the scenes to like ensure that Cobra does not take over the planet. So what we essentially have here is like a lot more covert GI Joe. In other words, as Colton puts it, they're just average Joes out in the trenches. So yeah, because like that's what this would be like. They're in the trenches. They're like that would be kind of like a phrase, so to speak. Like, they're the ones out in the trenches dealing with all this firsthand. That kind of stuff. So yeah, obviously there would be like, you have the classic Duke, you have Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes that would kind of alter here a little bit. Like, yes, of course you still have the Arashikage clan. However, what I would have it is Snake Eyes was the son of an American soldier who was stationed in Japan, ended up becoming a student at the Arashikage compound, like and would eventually like become chief rival with the clan master's son, aka Storm Shadow. So yeah, I would really play with that too, like like, oh, Another thing, though, there would be some terrorist organizations, though, like outright terrorist organizations. Firstly would be the Dreadnoks, who here are led by the mad cult leader Zartan, who's a master of disguise, and who actually is in the employ of Cobra. And yeah, they're basically, the whole thing is they're essentially the war boys. They are essentially the war boys from Mad Max. With Zartan is essentially their Immortan Joe. He's still a master of disguise, though. You know, the thing is, while he's called a mad prophet and a mad cult leader, Zartan knows exactly what he's doing. He's not crazy. He's doing it to make money. That is just one role he plays. And so yeah, that's what the Dreadnoks are. You know, they're based out of the outback in Australia, and like they're essentially like, you know what, we are going to burn down the world and make a new one from the ashes, kind of thing. So essentially, they're useful distractions for Cobra to like throw money at. They are like, oh, guess what? Oh, you need Cobra resources from our company to take these guys on. Trust me, you know. So yeah, that's kind of what the Dreadnoks are here. And of course, so yeah, the main crux of it would actually follow my favorite G.I. Joe, Beachhead, who's he's from Alabama. You know, he's a soldier. He essentially ended up getting discharged. Like, you know, he's like just didn't sign up again, and like, you know, he's headed home. So he's thinking, yeah, he was pretty much like, all right, you know, I'm just gonna head on home and just yeah, you know, kind of relax. He tries that. He ends up realizing, wow, retired life is dull. So what he does end up doing is like, you know, when Colton ends up like contacting him, like, hey, Sergeant Sneeden, we need your help, like, you know, and he's like, you know what, I'm in. And yeah, so pretty much he's like, so basically we follow Beachhead, like, cause here's the thing, he was like, he had never really seen that much combat necessarily, so he was in the War on Terror, but like he had been like maybe one or two firefights. That was about it. You know, he was managed to pull through that. So the whole thing is, he's essentially like, all right, like this kind of level of in-depth. He's not necessarily a rookie, but at the same time, like, I'm trying to play with, like, okay, he's getting used to the whole thing of like covert ops kind of thing, which is that most of them are. Like, most of the Joes are the ones that aren't like former, like, high ranking, for instance, here I would actually have Shipwreck being like a former Navy SEAL, like, before he ended up retiring, you know, that kind of thing. Basically, it's retirees and like guys that are not men and women that aren't actually in active military at this point, because there's too much of a chance Cobra could get to them and, like, you know, twist them around. So Colton's essentially pulling from, okay, this is the best of the best that we're in, you know. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of like just the general setup. Guys, let me know what you guys think. If you want to know more about, like, you know, what the actual overall story would be, please comment below, let me know, and I will come back to this. You know, we'll definitely be seeing part 2 of this. So anyway, this has been Captain Omni, signing off.